Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mythic Banter, and you better enjoy this one because you're not getting one next week because I'm going to Gamescom, baby. How are you doing, Accolonn?
You know what, bro? I have no complaints, except for the fact that I forgot to reset the chapter counter.
I saw it. I was like, we're on topic 13? Man, we're starting off good.
Yeah, we're cooking up here. But no, I'm good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to each and every one of you. It is another week. There's just always meltdowns that happens. It would be so nice if we could just have one podcast episode where we're just talking about all the absolute W's in the industry. You know, where half the industry isn't burning down and the other half isn't looking for matches to start the fire. Like, that would be just brilliant.
I've been taking L's all week. The gaming industry can take a couple of L's as well. Like, real life has not been easy, man. It's not been easy, bro. I'm struggling. Help me.
No, my life has actually been really good, man. Like, I went to this thing last night actually, at Stellenbosch University, which is this sort of Christian debate forum where sort of agnostics and atheists are also welcome to join, but they get these speakers from around the world to come and talk about various issues and problems. And so I got into a massive debate with a professor from the United States about
what side was he representing, agnostic or atheist?
No, she's a Christian. She's a Christian, but she's an anthropologist, and her work is in racial justice and discrimination and racism and all the rest of it. So we got into a bit of a debate over...
I'm scared now.
Microaggressions and stuff. No, I had fun. I won't go into the details. I had fun.
Microaggressions.
Yeah. Okay. I was just like, hold up. Like, if we're gonna start talking microaggressions, this conversation is gonna go very different very quickly. But yeah, no, it was super fun. It was the first time I went, so I can't wait for next week, because next week we're talking to an economist. So we're gonna have fun there as well. That's gonna be a fun conversation. But no, my week's been great. You know, I don't have the problems that you have. I'm not a father yet, so
yeah, it's like, listen, let me tell you something about yesterday. So yesterday is my daughter's birthday, which is the reason why this episode's getting recorded later.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, I'm going to do like something where I'm going to get some of her friends together and whatnot. And they're going to go to one of these, it's not really a theme park, but it's kind of like a mini theme park type thing where they get to just go and do slides and jumps and crazy stuff like that. It's all indoors,
nice.
But we're doing that on Saturday with some of her friends, but because yesterday's a weekday, so not everybody's available, so on, right? But I basically, because they're on summer break, I'm like, okay, so where do you want to go? And she's like, oh, I want to go do this thing where it's like they do the rope slides and whatnot. So there's a place that does those. So we do that, and then after that, she wanted to go karting, and I'm like, yeah, let's do go karts. Oh. And my son, I just wanted to choke him out, bro. I just wanted to I just choke you out, okay? Because my son gets in the go-kart, and what does he do? He waits until she does a full lap, and then he's in front of her, and then he doesn't let her, continue racing. He basically just like constantly puts his cart in front of her so that she can't pass. And I'm just like, you little... The whole time, dude, the whole time. He just wasted, like, because they get like 20 minutes or whatever on the kids track. He just wasted like 20 minutes basically moving slowly, preventing her from overtaking him. And I was like, oh, I'm going to ground you so bad. You don't even know. You don't even know.
Dude, I will just say, based for trolling.
No, dude, not based. It's my money, dude, for them in the kids track. Like, what do you mean? Not based. Waste of money is what that is. Dude, I was so mad. I was like, I was red in the face. I was exploding, dude.
Dude, but you just reminded me. I need to go to a theme park again. Like, I remember being younger and going to theme parks, and it's so much fun. Like, I need to go to a theme park again. Like, I just decided that. I'm convinced may never actually
get on a roller coaster. Yeah.
Yeah, they get on a
Sometimes.
roller coaster. The ship, this thing that it's a ship that just goes back and forth. The little twirly thing that pushes you against the side. Teacups. People say the teacups are just, oh, who cares about the teacups? But you get these violent teacups, the ones that violently swing around.
No, listen.
Those are so fun.
So there was this one time I never rode one of these rides, this specific ride, and I went there because my kid wanted to go do it. And it's the one where there's like 3 chairs. It's 3 groups of 3 chairs.
Oh, yeah?
And so the 3 chairs spin, so the platform of the chairs spins, but then the individual chairs themselves also spin.
Oh, man.
And then the bigger platform that has the 3 platforms of the chairs also spins.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm sure this will be fine. Bro, one rotation, I was like, this is not fine. I feel terrible. I just closed my eyes and grabbed my kid because I needed to be there because the ride is like, my son couldn't be there alone. You need someone to hold on. So I'm in the ride and I'm just going like, so bad. I feel so, and my son's like, woo, it's so much fun. And I was like, I'm dying. I get out of there. I was like sick for 2 hours on the couch. I was like, oh, somebody help me.
That is the issue. And you literally just reminded me of why I stopped going to theme parks.
Yeah, did I change your mind again?
It just happened like this. I don't know what happened. Like when I was younger, I could go on those rides for hours and nothing would happen.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then it's like I hit a wall of aging, like an invisible wall. And the next year I went on those rides and I remember I went on the spinny thing. So it's this giant circular disc. Everyone gets inside it and they sort of strap you onto the walls of this thing. And then it spins and it sort of lifts up like this. And you're just pushed against the thing. Dude, I got out of that with a blinding headache, feeling like I'm about to throw up the whole time. My whole day done. Like I can enjoy nothing further. I just want to lie down. I'm dead. I feel like I've been kicked in the nuts repeatedly, like just over and over again. I'm like, okay, this is nuts. Why is this happening to me? I just want to enjoy the rides like when I was younger. Aging sucks.
I remember because I hadn't done any carnival stuff for a while, and when my kid turned like 6 or 7 or something like that, he wanted to go do the kangaroo one. The one's like dung dung.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, sure, let's go do that. And I get on that thing, and I hadn't done any of this in a while, so I'm tensing up my body where you can't tense up your body when you're doing that. You have to like relax so that your body falls. So I tensed up my body, and it was just like bam, bam. I felt like every single one of those in my hips. I'm like bam, bam. And it's like, I get out of that, and I'm like, oh, like a fucking old man.
I just ate
on the years. Yeah, dude, on the following ones I learned, no, you just chill, bro. You just relax and let it go. Because otherwise it's gonna be very painful, dude. Oh man.
But okay. Enough of the theme parks, enough of the conversation. Yeah, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say that the type of pain that Visa and MasterCard would not, they would not want that. They'd be like, no, that didn't seem consensual at all. You did not consent to the abuse you suffered on that machine.
They should cut the payments to that. But okay, so let's get into the poll. Last week, I asked you guys, are you still playing World of Warcraft? Because obviously we covered World of Warcraft and new player experiences. 296 of you over on YouTube voted. Thank you so much for those votes. 8% of you said yes. 77% of you said no. 1% of you said yes, but will quit soon. And 14% said show results.
Oh, the 1% are delusional. They're like, I can quit anytime I want. I know those. I used to be one of those. I'm like, I can stop anytime I want.
I will say, though, because just in this week, I had someone from my old channel come into my new channel, and they were like, so is this all you do now? I miss your WoW content, and I wish my favorite YouTubers wouldn't have stopped playing the game. You all just turned into right-wing grifters now. And I was like, dude, maybe if all of your favorite YouTubers are moving away from WoW, that is an indictment of the game.
Like Let me tell that person one thing. You know who also wishes they never had to quit the game? Everybody who quit the game, because guess what? We fucking loved that game. We loved it. Okay? It was all the way up until Wrath of the Lich King. It was a phenomenal fucking game. True. And then they just fucking trashed it. It's like, okay. We wanted to keep playing the game. They fucking ruined it. It's not our choice.
Everything I see about that game is just an overcomplicated, convoluted mess. That's the only way I can assure, especially since I'm no longer in it. So now whenever I watch a video of someone talking about the problems, I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on? Like, what is this? What is that?
Like,
what the hell is that?
For me, it happens earlier whenever like I go and if I happen to run across one of the raid videos or something like that, where like one of these pro players is doing his thing, and it's just going like shockwave, circular, shockwave, cone, AoE incoming, move out of fire, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is this? An airport terminal? Like, what are we playing, bro? Is this World of Warcraft? Like, what? And then you get like the pong, you know, those little pong sounds every other second, pong, pong. I'm just like, oh man, this is.
I think also I should just say,
where's the game? Where's the game where I used to go like, okay, guys, listen, banana, that's sleep, okay, and then we're gonna do root on circle. Okay, and you'd have like a macro that you'd give to players. Okay, so listen, here's the things, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna mark these. Let's go. Skull goes first. X goes next. Let's go. We got this. No problem. I miss those days, man. That was the good old days.
No, 100% same. I think the game, the secret behind WoW was always its simplicity, but the fun that you would find in that simplicity. It wasn't a very convoluted or difficult game. It was a pretty straightforward game. You know, the bosses were pretty straightforward. The classes were pretty straightforward. And then they sort of did the right thing, I think, in Wrath of the Lich King. If you look at the glory days, most people look back at Ulduar, right, as like the start of WoW raiding was Ulduar. And one of the things they did there was, because classes were relatively simple to play, you know, a class would have a set rotation and you would go through that rotation. The complexity to the fights were added to the bosses. The bosses would become a lot more complex, but your class was pretty simple and straightforward. And then what happened over time is because they identified people love the complexity, they said, let's make everything complex. Let's make the classes super complex with all sorts of strange resource managements, but then also make the bosses more and more complex. So what ends up happening is you just have this convoluted mess where everything is complex purely for complexity's sake. It's not even always just because it's fun. They're just making it difficult because they want to have MSI esports representation in their stuff. And it's like, dude, look at where people are having the most fun. It's in the straightforward fights where classes are just classes and you can have fun with your friends, not in the mess that you guys have created. But yeah, you know, I think a lot of people here said they've never played WoW, which I think you're the lucky ones, because to see a game that you grew up with and basically became a cultural phenomena and shaped so much of your worldview at the time, see that just fall so bloody far, it is sad. You know, and like, it's even sadder. Yeah?
Go ahead.
No, it's even sadder when you look at the devs and you realize they have no clue. They don't know what the hell is going on. They don't know what's wrong.
And the thing is, like, we've witnessed that with 2 IPs. At least I've witnessed that with 2 IPs. I'm sure more people witnessed that with even more IPs. But, like, 2 IPs that were really important to me, which was Star Wars and World of Warcraft. And you just see it. It's just like, oh my God, this used to be so cool.
Yep.
And now it's just trash.
Yeah. You just look at you could also include your Lord of the Rings, right? Movies, amazing. Book, amazing. Show, dog poo.
See, that's the thing. I stopped watching after the movies, so Lord of the Rings is still phenomenal to me. I'm happier that way. I don't want to look at the show or anything. Like, I'm good.
Dude,
I'm good. The movies were amazing. I'll never forget them. They're awesome. Love them.
I've tried 3 times now to get into the show, right? Because it deals with the period that I want the most. I want to see the lore and backstory brought to life, right? And that's the period that it deals with. The issue is, right, even if I exclude the girl boss nonsense, the show is just not fun. I'm just not a single character in that show draws me in. I'm just looking at it going, okay.
See, never mind. I saved myself the disappointment, so I still have good, fond memories of Lord of the Rings. I even remember after watching the second movie, I remember thinking to myself, how am I ever going to enjoy movies again? Like, it's going to be hard, bro. Like, what do you mean? How's it going to get better than this? That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. I mean, and the movies were so good. Like, so bloody good. If they could make more movies with the same director, having the same mindset, that would be fire. Like, that would be so good. But okay, let's stop talking about polls. Let's get into the actual news here. Some big news, not necessarily for either you or me, because I don't think I've ever played Roblox.
Actually, this one is big for me because it kind of like justifies a stance that I've had with my kids, which is my son has asked me to play Roblox like for a very long time. I think probably since he was 5 or something. Well, no, he started school at like 6. So probably at 6 is when he met other kids that had played Roblox. And it was like, Dad, all my friends play Roblox. Can I play Roblox? And I was like, nope.
Yep.
You can't play Roblox, son. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, Roblox isn't a new company to controversy. There's been a lot of instances of some very bad practices happening in Roblox and the extended universe. And one of the big problems with Roblox is the fact that people can make their own games inside the universe. People can make their own businesses and all the rest of it. And as you imagine, there's a lot of like really scaly stuff that happens in Roblox, especially knowing that most of its audience is children, right? It's not adults that's playing Roblox. Well, there's some adults, but it's the kind of adults that shouldn't be. Yeah. There's adults that should not be playing that game. But then what makes this worse? So just quickly, guys, the Attorney General Liz Murrill of Louisiana is filing a lawsuit against Roblox, right? Suing Roblox. Basically, they say here, due to Roblox's lack of safety protocols and endangers the safety of the children of Louisiana, Roblox is overrun with harmful content and child predators because it prioritizes user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety. Every parent should be aware of the clear and present danger posed to their children by Roblox so they can prevent the unthinkable from ever happening in their own home. And this, by the way, there's been plenty of stories, and this isn't new. Again, it's strange that the government is only getting involved now. As someone that doesn't like the government, I fully support the government protecting children. Right? This is the debate that we had for 2 weeks now, because I understand on the one side the government wants to do a bunch of stuff to protect children. On the other hand, I'm like, I don't really want the government that involved, right? In a lot of stuff.
So the situation with this is that this is something that has been going on for a while. The whole predator stuff happening in Roblox, like there's constant, you hear stories about this all the friggin' time. But on top of that, it's not even just Roblox, because like a lot of companies nowadays are incredibly predatory towards children in terms of like, whatever we can do to ensure that the child stays engaged for the longest amount of time possible, that is what we're going to do. You know, we don't give a fuck if this fucks with their brains, their learning capabilities, or anything like that. We don't care. And it's the same thing even in content creation on YouTube as well. Some creators are clearly just exploiting children. And it in terms of like their watch time, that's what I mean by exploiting children. And it's just very disappointing to see that there are so many people that are completely uninformed by this, because what happens is this whole thing starts scaling on a level that it becomes very hard to control. So like, for instance, it's very hard for me to keep my kid away from Roblox because all of his friends are on it, because his friends' parents don't give a fuck about what their kids are doing online. And there's a lot of parents out there that do not give a fuck about what their children are doing online. That is the only reason I would expect them to just, you know, unless you're 100% controlling what your kid is doing in Roblox, like you're, every time he's in Roblox, you're there watching, making sure. Your kid is going to be exposed to some pretty fucked up shit in Roblox.
Dude, I want to go so far as that I don't think it's wrong to have your kids play video games, right? I grew up playing video games.
Yeah, of course not.
But I think kids should, for the most part, play offline video games. They should play offline, learn how to, because there's phenomenal stuff that comes with games, right? Gamers are a lot better at problem solving. They're very good at pattern recognition. Their memory is oftentimes far better than that of kids who don't play video games. So there's a lot of pros to video gaming. But the downside of online games, I think, outweighs the upsides of it. So I think unless a company...
It's not even...
Yeah.
It's not even just online games, though, because there's different types of online games. It's just games where you can be exposed to some of the stuff that you can be in Roblox. That is, you know, because like I know, for instance, of friends of mine that actually play Roblox with their kids. So their kids only play Roblox when they're playing with their parents. And that's a different conversation.
No, obviously
then you can kind of like pick and choose the specific games you guys are playing, and I've heard that there's some really fun experiences in Roblox. The problem is, for the most part, a lot of kids are just like let loose on these platforms, and you know, I mean, that's I think where we get into problems.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be talking about Gen Z buying fewer games, and I think it's very much related to this. Most parents are working all the time, you know, just to stay afloat, just to keep making money and actually survive. So their kids are just given an iPad, given a computer, and let loose because mom and dad has to work, right? So what are we supposed to do? Which again, we could have. Like I won't bring up the argument now, but stay-at-home moms would have solved a lot of those issues. But you know, that's neither here nor there for this conversation. But okay, so I think the thing here, right, is there's a lot of people who's going, and I see the conversation because this is always how the conversation go. The government shouldn't get involved. Parents should just parent better. And
they should. This is true. Yes.
100%. But in my opinion, two things can be true at the same time. On the one hand, parents should parent better. But then, and here's where things get truly scumbag, Roblox markets itself as a child-safe place, right? It markets for children. So parents see that and they argue, well, this game is for kids. Therefore,
and by the way, as a bit of added context, I don't know if it was this week or last week, a content creator created a brand new account in Roblox just to see how long it would take him to run into a penis. And it was not even minutes. It was like seconds.
Nearly instant. As soon as he logged in, he got there. I think what makes this
like, even... that's a penis.
What makes this even more disgusting, and I couldn't figure out why this was happening, but about 2 weeks ago, I started seeing all of these videos pop up of Roblox developers taking videos of themselves going into the office, what the office is like inside, how they're served these 5-star meals and buffets and free coffee and free everything, and it's just one big playhouse, effectively. And I remember seeing this and I thought, what the hell is going on? Like, Roblox is new. Why is this happening now? And now I know. They knew the trouble was coming and they were trying to get the public on their side. Like, guys, look how playful and fun we are, just normal humans, right? But what they don't understand is it came off looking very bad for them because most people were like, wait, so you guys are basically being catered to, not even necessarily working, but children are being harmed on your site. What the hell is going on there? Like,
and you know the funny thing is what you described there. I once went to Twitch's headquarters in San Francisco, And what you're describing there is literally what Twitch's headquarters is like. Because I was there. I got to have dinner there, and they basically just have like a whole floor that's just like buffet. It's a cafeteria. You go in there, you just have buffet anytime you want, all of that. Yeah. Then we went down, they had like this arcade room, and it's just like, oh, so it's just like good old fun times all the time.
Like, I mean, and I sort of, to some extent, get why a lot of companies think this is the right approach. Because they're thinking that people will be more creative the more they play. But I think what we're finding is most people who go work at these companies, they're not really doing their jobs, right? They're not really, because they're just playing the whole time. The whole thing isn't a job. It's an experience that you go through. So we'll keep you guys up to date. Right now, we just have the Roblox lawsuit that's been filed. We don't know where this is going to go or if it's even going to stand. We'll see. But I personally think that any company that markets itself as a child-safe place and then gets found out to be the opposite of that should be closed down. Like, if you're going to have children on your site and you're going to market specifically for children, you need to make damn sure that those kids are safe, right? Like, because the thing is, people can argue, no, but it's the parents' job. But now think from the side, but here's the thing. Think from the perspective of Roblox. Their marketing, all of their marketing material, everything that they put out is designed to make parents think this is a safe place for their children to be. The Roblox is for children. It's where children get to have fun without adults and all the rest of it interfering. So Roblox is responsible for creating a false narrative around their company, and they're not enforcing it because there's nothing wrong, right? It's like YouTube Kids. YouTube Kids market themselves as a safe place for kids to watch videos. Time and time again, we see that YouTube Kids is less than safe for children.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of people who upload videos to kids, and then they do all these kiddie stuff on the videos. So if the parents are just walking past, the kids have earphones in. The parents think the child is just watching someone make something out of clay. Meanwhile, this dude there was a thing where this dude was talking about penises or something whilst building little stickmen out of clay. So the kids have earphones in, watching this stuff. The parents walk past and think, they're just looking at a tutorial how to make clay men. That's nice. Meanwhile, this kid is getting his sex ed from someone that has no business giving sex ed on YouTube,
God.
Right? So it's sort of, it's crazy. And companies should be held accountable for that, right? If you're going to market
we know what we need to do?
Yeah.
We need harsher punishments for when these people are found out. Be made a fucking example of, like, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's one thing if you're a company that happen to have children on your service and there's some bad stuff happening. But if you market yourself as a safe place for children, you have an obligation to truly try and be a safe place for children.
But then again, again, even though, yes, we have all these problems, one of the bigger issues still is in parents.
Oh, 100%.
Because, like, the amount of parents I've seen just go around and be like, yep, I bought GTA 5 for my kid. Yep. And then I have my son constantly asking me, oh, my friends are playing GTA. It's like, my son is 10.
Yeah, you're not playing GTA, bro. Like, calm down. You can kill hookers when you're older.
It was like, God damn. At the same time, I think I might have, no, I think I was 16. I think I did the calculation at some point to see how old I was when I played Carmageddon back in the day. I thought I was 12, but I think it turns out that I was actually like 16 or something like that when I first played Carmageddon. And that didn't fuck me up. I was fine playing Carmageddon.
I mean, dude, I watched It. You remember the Stephen King movie It? The clown.
I never watched it, but I know which one you're talking about.
I think I watched it when I was like 11. So I also, but it was a different time. You know, it was a different time. You sort of pissed your bed for a couple of nights afterwards, being very scared. And then you just, brushed it off, walked it off, and moved on with your life. But at least that was just scary stuff, right? It wasn't being exposed. I wasn't exposed to pedophiles through it, right? And that's the real danger, because these predators on these games are targeting children, and oftentimes in some of the worst. In fact, it gets so bad that Chris Hansen, right, has been sort of pulled in to make a documentary investigation into Roblox. Like, they're trying to get Chris Hansen.
Isn't that the guy who did the predatory stuff back in Chris Hansen? Yeah, How to Catch a Predator. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's a guy called Schlep. Schlep has retained counsel to defend against Roblox, going after him for exposing predators on the platform. Schlep himself was groomed on Roblox by a then developer on Roblox. Schlep then went after predators on Roblox, exploding and leading to the arrest of 6 PDFs. Schlep was then issued a cease and desist and banned from the Roblox platform. So Roblox not only knew about this stuff, they wanted to hide this stuff, right? Now even Qatar has banned the game, and Congressman is looking into it, and the state of Louisiana.
God.
I've even had law firms reach out to me in DMs asking for info, looking at class action lawsuits against the company. This is bad news for Roblox. This was from Grums who wrote this. But yeah, it's Chris Hansen contacted him. So Chris Hansen is now doing a documentary investigation into Roblox and the stuff that's going on. That's going to be fire. I want to see that documentary. That's going to be such a good documentary.
Crazy.
Yeah, we need to expose this stuff. One, so the parents can be informed as to what is actually happening.
Yeah.
But two, there needs to be made an example of these people, right? Because this cannot stand. If you don't want to take responsibility for children, don't market yourself to children. It's as simple as that. I have always, in every single one of my channels that I've ever owned, I have always said to parents, your kids should not be watching my videos because I'm not making videos for kids. You know, back before I became a Christian, I would make sexual jokes. I would talk about sex. So I made it super clear. These streams, they're not kid safe. You know, I once had a guy who came into the channel, and then throughout the conversation, he sort of turned out he was like 14. I banned him right away. It's like, get away, bro. Like, this is not for you. This is not.
I'm saving you right now.
Yeah, this is not your platform, right? I'm not going to take responsibility for you. I can't even take responsibility for myself. How am I going to? I don't want that responsibility. Get the hell away from me. So yeah, I think more should be done to keep these companies in check. But you guys can let us know in the comment section down below what you think should happen to Roblox and companies like Roblox. Speaking of censorship, we have to talk about YouTube. So in the US, YouTube rolled out AI. Specifically, AI is now determining or trying to determine whether or not users are 18 based on viewing habits, commenting habits.
I was about to say determining is a very strong word.
Yeah, it's determining.
An attempt was made.
Yeah. It gave it its best effort to try and figure out if people are actually... So what ended up happening is a lot of people who are well over age just suddenly couldn't access YouTube, couldn't watch
This is only in the US, right?
Yeah. For now, it's just rolled out in the US. No. For now, it's just it's their pilot program. So for those of you unfamiliar, YouTube will have these. They do it often for creators. Whenever they have a new feature, they'll first roll it out to a handful of creators. If that's successful, to more creators, and then eventually it'll roll out to the whole platform. This was originally just meant for the US. I think YouTube.
Oh yeah, one of the fantastic features that they've done, one of these trial runs that they've done recently was absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
Because what they did was they just said like, hey, what if instead of people having the screen names that they wanted, what if they just now default to the usernames? And that didn't fuck everything over for literally everyone that live streams at all. Like names of people that I knew, I'd like, I don't know you anymore, bro. Now it's just like a strange ass username I've never seen before.
Yeah.
It's
Welcome,
like, what the
stranger.
fuck is going on?
Welcome, stranger.
It was like one of the most awkward experiences because sometimes I'd be like, oh, I can identify this person's behavior. I know who you are. And then but it's so weird, dude. It's like, yeah, these are some of the things that they'll sometimes roll out. So that's how they're doing this age thing.
So there's a lot of people very angry about this because obviously the AI is making huge mistakes, and some people can't watch videos, can't access their accounts. Their stuff is getting changed all the time. They're trying to access live stream features, and it says you're not old enough to watch this. It's like a 54-year-old going, "What? Like, what is the age restriction on this bloody live stream? Like, what is this only for grandpas and grandmas? Like, what's going on?" Right, so clearly there's some things wrong here. Where I will play devil's advocate. Now, I want to make it clear, this is not what I believe, but I'm trying to play devil's advocate because I think it's important to try and see all sides. The internet came very fast, right? If we're talking about human development,
maybe they should see a doctor about that.
Yeah, it might be premature, but we'll see, right? At least it doesn't have impotency issues. At least not yet.
That was so bad. I'm so sorry.
But the internet, in terms of human development, and you think about the impact of technology on society, the internet came out of nowhere and within a very short span of time completely dominates our lives now. Right? There's entire careers made on the internet. Most people spend most of their days on the internet. And I think it's fair to say, if you look at all of the data, it has had some very negative effects. There's a lot of issues now. The vast majority of people can't agree on what reality is, because everyone has their own version of what reality is based on the bubble that they happen to connect to. The world is suffering with misinformation, disinformation, all manner of craziness. Now, where this gets even worse is if the world is suffering with because a lot of people, everyone's definition of misinformation and disinformation is different, right? If you listen to Tucker Carlson, everything pro-Israel is misinformation and disinformation. If you listen to Hassan, everything anti-Palestine is misinformation and disinformation. So no one can agree. And this is where the problem comes in. Well, we have to deal with that. Who are the angels in society?
Yeah, who's going to watch the Watchmen is the old saying.
Yeah, because unless you have some angels lying around that's willing to do this completely unbiased, I don't trust anyone else to deal with this, right? Like, and this is a nightmare scenario for us to be involved in. But the truth is, it's not new. This is exactly what happened when the printing press became a big deal. Suddenly, people could print information at lightning speed, and it caused problems. It caused severe problems. In fact, we haven't even dealt with the problems that they dealt with during the printing press saga. Because the printing press sent the whole of Europe into a war that nearly destroyed the whole of Europe. Every country was fighting every other country and fighting itself over the printing press, right? Martin Luther also had a little bit to do with that, but that's a whole different discussion. So you have this, sadly, new technology always lead to chaos first. And I think YouTube is trying to figure out a way to deal with that new technology. And they're trying or hoping that AI can provide that, since humans have not worked because of bias. There used to be human fact checkers on YouTube. Any YouTuber that's made videos will tell you those human fact checkers were terrible. You'd have a video demonetized that was talking about World of Warcraft lore because the human thought that you were actually advocating for war in life. It's like, dude, I'm talking about games. Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, yes, there's genocide, but it's orcs and elves. It has nothing to do with real life. I'm not talking about real life. And those
orcs fucking had it coming, too. They had it coming. Let me tell you, goddamn greenskins.
I genuinely still have videos on my old channel that is demonetized talking about WoW lore. Like, this was before I started talking about politics. I'm literally just talking about war in WoW. And I appealed the decision, and the human element told me, no, this video is not fit for advertisers because it's about genocide or war or something. You're like, dude, come on, man. Like, we have to have some. So clearly that didn't work. YouTube was thinking AI will work. The problem is who's coding the AI, right? Because their bias is going to be coded into the AI. And I think you're seeing the world trying to figure out how to deal with this. How do we deal with the internet? How do we get to a place where the internet doesn't just destroy society? The problem is that everyone seems to have different ways of wanting to deal with it. The EU seems to increasingly take a stance of authoritarianism almost in this. They just want to ban all speech except, correct speech as determined by the government, because of course, there's some people in the United States wants the same thing. Some people want to pretend there's no problem and we should just continue doing what we're doing. So you have all of these different groups trying to figure it out. And I don't think the answer has emerged yet. I think we're going to be struggling with this for a few more years. For now, I think the only thing we can do is to try our best to protect kids. Because free speech is free speech, yes, but children don't have free speech. That doesn't apply to children. And if you don't believe me, go to literally any parent's household. Any normal parent will tell you they do not observe their child's right to free speech.
My kid doesn't have free speech. He will say the things that I want, or he will be grounded and potentially slapped across the face.
Look, ultimately, a good father is a dictator. Because children are stupid, and they'll do stupid shit. When I was 10, I thought I could jump off the roof of my house with an umbrella. My parents didn't go, well, you have freedom of speech, you have freedom of association, go jump.
Go find out your truth, son.
My parents were like, what the hell are you doing? Like, that's nuts. Let's not do that. So
your father probably went, see, this is from that one time you dropped him on his head. See, this is what we're dealing with now. You dropped him on his head. Now he thinks he can fucking float off the roof like Mary Poppins. This is on you, woman.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, children don't have freedom of speech. And so I do think if we can at least protect children, just let children be children, let them have fun, and that's it. And we spoke about this last week, so we won't go into detail again on this, but I think for the most part, we need to get kids off the internet. I don't think the internet is a safe place for children. And I don't think you'll ever make it a safe place for children. It's fine if we as adults have massive disagreements and fights over what is the truth, right? But children should not be engaged in this. Children should be playing. They should be having fun. They should be out with their friends.
It's too late. It's too late at this point. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's not going to happen. The one thing that you can do is do your best to build up your child's self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that is the attack vector that will get exploited. Like a lot of predators will prey on a child's sense of self-esteem. Yeah. Especially if you keep telling because some parents, they're not as good parents as they should be. They're like, you look so ugly in that dress or something like that, and that will build up insecurity in children, which is and then, one of the primary attack vectors.
Yeah, and then children will obviously seek acceptance from other sources.
Somebody else, yeah.
It is truly sad, right? But again, if parents can't protect their children, the sad thing is, as someone that hates the government has to, right? Because kids need protection. That's just how it is. We can't allow children to go into this world broken because some predators got hold of them, or information that they should not have access to. Like, for example, I don't think it's healthy for children to see images of war and images of suffering around the world. And people will say, oh, but suffering is just a part of life. Yeah, when you're old enough to understand that. Not when you're young and suddenly you see things happening around the world and you have no ability to sort of categorize, oh, this is happening far away. Your young little brain is just thinking, oh, shit, life's ending, I don't think kids should have access to this stuff. I remember being young, whenever stuff, because I was I wasn't even that young when the war in Iraq broke out. I think I was like 16 when that happened. But my parents wouldn't allow me to watch the news because they were just like, dude, this is war. This has nothing to do with you. Like, go play video games or some shit. You know, this has nothing to do with you. You're not at an age where your brain understands what it's seeing, and it shouldn't see this stuff. So yeah, I think YouTube is in a weird space where it's trying to figure out how do they protect children on their site. What do you do, right? Because I'm not okay with YouTube doing a like ID verification. That I think is just a mess. And I say this as someone who YouTube already has everything about me because I make YouTube videos.
All of our data.
Like everything. They have my bank details, they have my ID, they have my passport numbers. Like YouTube has everything about me. I cannot hide from YouTube. But even I am saying I don't think YouTube should have access to that because, again, we don't know what these companies do with that data. If we had the ability to know that YouTube wasn't going to share that data with the government or with anyone else, that would be a different discussion. But we don't have those because so often companies get caught out sharing that data with everyone, right? Like Rurikhan will tell you, every single time we do a podcast, my phone rings from some robot BS trying to sell me some new crap. And they keep getting, I don't know why they keep doing it. Like, someone must do this. Because nowadays, all of my calls are press 1 now. So why am I going to press 1 now? You haven't even told me what I'm pressing 1 for? Are you out of your mind?
Just accept. Just say yes. Just accept it. It's fine.
Dude, but someone must fall for it, right? Because the fact that they keep doing it says that they have some level of success. So there's some grandma somewhere that goes, just press 1. Well, I better do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's still people that fall for it. So, yeah, that's always going to happen.
I hate this because I just want to grab those people and go, you're making everyone's lives worse by being stupid. Stop being stupid.
Stop being stupid.
But, let us know. Do you want to say anything extra about the AI stuff?
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, sorry guys. This is a bit of a a bit of a thing for me. I like talking about this stuff, so I can talk for hours. But we'll move on swiftly. You guys can partake in the conversation, obviously, in the comment section down below. We're sticking with censorship to some extent. That's really a theme. It seems like the gaming industry goes through these themes where they all do the same stuff over and over again. Because there's more censorship now. This time from Take-Two. Now, for those of you that don't know, there's a game called Mafia Old Country. Okay? Now, apparently there's a character in the game, I haven't played it yet, called Isabella. And Isabella is apparently quite hot. Now,
let me see.
There's a mod that's been made that allows you to have Isabella naked all of the game. So Isabella just doesn't wear clothes at all in the game. Some guys like that, I guess. So, that's just how they're playing it. For me, that would be incredibly immersion breaking. I'm busy having a shootout and tits are flying all over my screen. It'd just be like, this is completely inappropriate for the activities we're engaged in right now. But, some guys like that. Now, you would think that this is just for fun, right? Like, who cares? This is a mod. It's not part of the base game. It has no effect on the game at all. Well, Take-Two does not agree. And we had a post over on Nexus Mods by Denatrius that said, a takedown DMCA request was issued by Lisa Deer on behalf of Take-Two Interactive Software, Inc. on 12/08/2025. We were able to internally verify the legitimacy of this claim through the requesting of additional evidence to prove the identity of the claimant and the rights they hold over the content in question. The following mods were affected. Mafia, the Old Country mods 19, and mods 8. The uploader has been given 14 days from the date outlined above to file a counterclaim if these 14 days... So Take-Two basically just said, nope, these mods won't be allowed.
No naked, no nude mods for our characters.
Yeah.
So Did the person make the textures, or was it like actually an in-game thing where there's a nude model of this character?
That I don't know. I'm assuming since it is I'm pretty sure it's an adult game. There's probably a sex scene where you can see her naked, or maybe a scene where she is kind of naked, and they just remove the clothing. But it doesn't actually go into detail.
Because here's the situation, right? It's a DMCA takedown. DMCA means the person issuing the takedown owns the copyrighted material.
Yeah.
So it would. I don't know how that works because they basically they own the game. And you're changing the game.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering if that would apply from a legal standpoint to the actual skin. It's like, no, we own that skin. We made the naked skin, and we don't want it used in this way.
Yeah.
Because if somebody else made the skin, how does the DMCA work? Or is it still like, it's still our intellectual property because it's still our game. We still own and we still determine how things get used. I don't know. I feel like it's more trouble than it's worth because, you know, what's going to happen? They're just going to host it on like one of those file sharing websites like FileZilla or whatever, Superfile, or I don't even know what the, you know. I think one of them was Mega Download, right? Mega Download? I don't know.
No,
Back in the day, I remember using some of these websites to show like big files and stuff like that. But they're just going to move this, and it's going to go to some, you know, dark recess of the internet like 4chan or Reddit or whatever. Yeah. And that's where it will be available. Like, you're not going to get rid of this.
No.
So I almost feel like it's basically what you're doing by filing this lawsuit is your Streisand affecting the whole situation. And now more people are aware of the fact that there is a nude mod. I had no idea there was a nude mod before you told me this morning because of the news of the DMCA takedown.
Yeah.
DMCA takedowns often just act as amplifiers.
Yeah.
So congratulations. Now a lot of more people are aware of the fact that there's a nude mod for Isabella. A lot more people are likely going to use it just out of spite. They're probably going to post it on YouTube, and now you have to deal with the YouTube situation as well. Have fun dealing with that. Again, it's like, I understand a company going like, well, I don't want people doing this in my video game. I get that. I really do. But it's like, ultimately, you have to think, okay, but what are the consequences of my actions here? And the consequences are the Streisand effect, and now more people are going to know about it, and they're still going to share it, and you're not going to get rid of it, and most likely you've just amplified the whole thing. Sometimes you just got to take a couple of L's, is the way that I look at it.
I think the other problem that I have is the precedent this sets, right? Because now we have game companies directly interfering with third-party mods. Third-party mods are...
They're not setting a precedent because the precedent has already been set long ago.
But
probably by Bethesda or something like that, I would imagine.
Well, I would argue Bethesda has pretty much always been pretty agnostic with how mods are used in their games. They sort of approach mods the same way they approach game design. We'll see.
If it wasn't Bethesda, who was it? Because some
No, there's definitely been other companies that has already done this. But this reinforces it, sort of, right? It sort of gets to the point where I understand when a company doesn't want their image to be attached to something, right? I understand that. But mods don't do that, right? The mod doesn't change the game for everyone else. It just changes it for the person that has the mod installed.
It all just goes back to the whole concept that we always talk about, game ownership. Is the fucking game mine or not?
Yeah.
That's where we're at. And the companies are always going to say, well, not. I'm giving you a license, and you're going to play the game the way that I tell you. And that's where I have a fundamental disagreement. It's like, no. If I fucking bought it, I fucking own it. It's mine. Fuck you. I use the game in any way that I goddamn want.
True. And
I think that's a pretty reasonable way of doing things. Like, imagine you buy a house, and then somebody comes over and it's like, well, yeah, but you can't drill that wall. It's like, motherfucker, I'm going to turn this into one of those fucking, you know, the things for straining, for straining pasta, bitch. I will fucking drill all the goddamn holes in this bitch I want. God damn it.
The sad part is that most countries
and then it's like,
have those
and then the guy
right?
goes, no, wait. The guy then comes back and is like, that's a load-bearing wall, sir. Oh.
I blew my house up. You don't tell me what to do. I'll take this whole damn house apart.
I'll tear this bitch down.
I wanted to do it anyways.
You. Out of spite.
Yeah. It's like, dude, just let me own what I buy. Because
exactly.
I do know this is a joke, right? And people sort of throw it around as a joke. But if I don't own the game after purchasing it, then I'm also not stealing the game for pirating it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I couldn't. There's no way to own the game. Therefore, there's no way to steal the game. Because stealing would be taking property. I can't take the property, not even legally, so I can also not take it illegally. Someone should challenge this in court. Like, there should be an actual court challenge on this, because legally speaking, if you cannot own something, how the hell can you steal it? Right? If there's physically no way to own something, then there's physically also no way to take that something.
There's no way to own a fountain. Like a public fountain, you can't just own it. You can still steal it.
Yeah, but the government owns it, right? It belongs to the government. By definition, it's their property. Under law, it's their property, so you can still steal it, right? The issue is if the government said no one owns this, in which case, okay, but then I can also not really steal
basically, it. What the game companies are saying is that they own all the copies that we purchased. They own them.
I would love to get, maybe if there's lawyers watching, or maybe someone that has legal sort of information on this, I would love to read your thoughts on this. Like, what exactly is the legal ramifications of this nonsense? Because what's happening now and what game companies are doing now, it cannot be acceptable. It makes no bloody sense. Anyways, that's the story with Take-Two and their DMCA.
You want to know where all of that ends?
Yeah.
In the back room of some lobby group, that's where that conversation ends. It's a lobby group that's like, no, we own this.
Yep.
We fucking own it.
Yeah.
And it's a big club and you're not in it, motherfucker. We own it. That's literally where it ends. It fucking sucks, but that's the truth.
I was talking to a fellow, well, actually this guy is a YouTuber, but he's also very much in South African politics. And I was talking to him about starting a political party in South Africa. Not that I'm planning to, but talking about we need a conservative party in South Africa that stands for conservative values and stuff. And he said to me, dude, you have no idea the billions and billions of rands you need to start a political party in this country. If you don't have billionaires backing you, it's not happening. And the problem is, the second you have billionaires backing you, you're no longer a conservative party. You're whatever those billionaires want you to be. That's what you are, right? And I was just like, man, this is not what democracy is supposed to be. Like, holy shit, this is not how it's supposed to be.
And gaming is the exact same thing. They fucking own it, everything, and they have the money. Therefore, it is what it is. Yeah. You'd need a billionaire to give a shit about this, and not a single billionaire in the world gives a crap about game ownership. So
they're on the board of directors. They're just thinking about how can we get more microtransactions into this game, so that I can get more bullion, so I can bribe more senators to do stuff that I want them to do. That's effectively how this
exactly.
Is. Right? Like
you don't own shit. You don't own anything. Okay.
It is just it is so upsetting. But speaking of people having a bad week,
man, the British people, they're not having a good time, bro. They ain't having a good time.
There's a big chunk of British people that are super depressed this week. So the UK enforced.
It's not enough that it rains in there all the goddamn time, okay?
No.
It rains all the time. The weather is piss poor all the time.
Yep.
And then they have to deal with this shit.
True. You see, and so the UK becomes the latest country to enforce age verification rules on porn sites, specifically Pornhub. So Pornhub is the UK's most visited adult site. And they just in the last week, or actually since from July 24th until the August the 8th, since this age verification law has come into effect, the UK has seen, Pornhub UK, has seen a 47% drop in traffic since now age
Which basically
has to be verified.
means only 53% of the UK knows how to use a VPN.
Yeah. Or because technically this would now be
this would be the perfect segment to introduce a VPN sponsorship right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Give us a sponsorship.
This is where we'd put our VPN sponsorship if we had one.
Yeah. But here's actually, I think what this actually means is about 53% of people in the UK just gave their IDs. 47% immediately switched to a VPN to get their content.
Oh, yeah, because then it wouldn't detect. No, actually, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Never mind.
Suddenly, Pornhub saw a massive increase from Ireland and Germany and France.
They're going to get their porn, bro.
Yeah.
People, it is what it is.
And that's the issue with this, right? It keeps in check what we've been discussing this entire time. And it's in line with that, right? It's this thing of, I understand why governments might want to enforce stricter rules on porn sites. Specifically because Pornhub has been linked, allegedly, to child trafficking rings, human trafficking rings, a lot of videos of people having stuff done to them without their consent. There's been PDF stuff going on there. Like, Pornhub is not a good company, nor is it a good site. It has a lot of problems. So you can understand why the government's like, dude, we have to enforce age verification. We need to know who is on these sites, so that children don't go on there, but also maybe so that if there are like PDF stuff happening, the government can go to Pornhub and be like, hey, hand over all of the IDs of people who watch this stuff so that we can erase them. And I think everyone within that narrow framework, right? So if you exclude everything else, you just look at that. Most people would go, yep, makes perfect sense to me. The problem is that narrow framework is not the only thing, right? Like, there's a much larger story. And it's in all of these other areas that most people go, do I trust the government and Pornhub with my information? Do I think they should have access to this? Now,
I definitely don't even trust the government with my information, let alone Pornhub. I'm sorry,
true.
Bro.
My thing is just, right, so I don't like porn. I think porn is incredibly destructive. I think it's incredibly evil. All of the research we have of porn usage shows that it is doing a lot of damage. My issue is the same that we spoke about last week. Banning doesn't work. It will not
stop get their stuff.
Yeah. And if you make it hard for them to get it in legal places, they'll go to illegal places, where oftentimes now there's no regulation, no oversight, so it gets worse, right? Now you are dealing directly with people against their will, human trafficking, child trafficking, because there's no regulation. This stuff now happens in corners of the internet that no one knows about, and the government doesn't have oversight. So the question is, or the thing is, you have to ask yourself, is the government trying to police something, but through that policing will actually just end up making the whole situation worse in the long run? And that's where I think we are on this. I genuinely don't know what else to say about this other than it's funny that they've seen that massive drop. What's more alarming is that about 53% of people were just like, yeah, cool. Here's all of my details. I'll scan my ID. Go right ahead. I trust you, Pornhub. You won't misuse my data, will you? I'm just going to go fap a bit. Like, let me fap a bit. But dude, that's exactly it, right?
Just wait until you get like a zillion blue pill advertisements on your email.
Dude, but here's where it gets funny. Like, the guys who's handing that over is probably so horny and hot up. Like, as soon as the age verification, oh no, okay, here, quickly, okay, fap. And then that no nut or that post nut clarity hits like a truck when you realize
it's like, wait, what did I just do?
Shit!
This is a bad idea. It was not a good idea.
Yeah, this was a really bad idea. But, if you live in the UK, let us know, right? What do people in the UK think of this? What's the conversation happening in the UK around this stuff? We'd love to read your thoughts on that. Okay, so moving on swiftly. Now we get to the meat and potatoes, guys. We've dealt for the last hour with the quick topics. Now we're getting into a topic that Rurikhan is very passionate about.
Video games?
Rurikhan, yeah. Tell us about the Devcom discussion. Like, what exactly happened there?
So Devcom is this thing where it's something that happens ahead of Gamescom. So a bunch of developers go in there and there's like, talks and all of this stuff. I don't really attend these, so I don't know too much. But basically there have been a set of surveys that were sent out to all of the people that are attending. So these are people that are in the industry, a lot of developers, a lot of people that work for gaming companies, that type of stuff.
And it would usually be, I just want to point out, so Devcom is actually huge, right? Because all new developers want to go there for potential funding, but existing developers go there for connections and stuff. So this is huge.
Yeah, networking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a speaker survey, and basically we have a little bit of insight as to how these people feel about the gaming industry. So one of the topics, for instance, is what business model will dominate the near future? And 27% voted towards digital/physical premium games, so the regular games that we have right now. Yep. So this is at 27%. And then there was somebody with paid subscriptions. So I don't know if this is MMORPGs or if it's Game Pass.
I think
that's the
thing. Would probably be both. So
or
it would be an argument.
Both, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It would be an argument that subscription-based gaming is probably going to be the future in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. So that one is at 20%.
Well, actually, no. Sorry. I think what it could be, if I'm just sort of thinking off the top of my head here, it could very easily just be looking at it, because when you think about monetization, right, for single-player games, just a straight-up purchase is always going to be the way. Right? People aren't going to subscribe for a single player game. But it might be the argument around live service gaming. So all live service, not just MMOs, but that they think
because
the
there's
future
no, because there's another one specifically for that. So the one with paid subscriptions, I think, is specifically likely Game Pass. Might also be like MMORPG, because then they also talk about free-to-play with in-game purchases, which was 18%. They don't list the other options, so we just know the top three. So 27% was digital, physical, the straight-up games that we have right now. 20% for subscriptions, which is really high.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of feel like it almost seems to me as wishful thinking, because I don't think that this is represented by the market, because a lot of people are actually going like, man, do I need all these subscriptions? I have a subscription to Netflix, subscription to Game Pass, subscription to World of Warcraft, subscription to Final Fantasy 14. There's so many subscriptions. At least I'm hopeful that people have gotten to that point where they're like, do I need all these subscriptions? But who knows? And then free-to-play games within game purchases is 18%, which I actually think is going to be the business model that is going to dominate once we get into another discussion that we're going to be having in today's podcast about how Gen Z and basically current young not late, but like, older teenagers and young adults, they are purchasing less and less games. And I think that free-to-play is going to be their biggest option. But yeah, that's what the speakers are thinking. Do you have any comment on that?
So my personal opinion there is, firstly, I absolutely agree with you that we're probably gonna have we're probably gonna end up with the in-game purchases one, right? Being free to play in-game purchases. I do understand, though, where the developers come from that say subscription-based. And I think that boils down to, as a developer, and I've spoken to a number of developers who hate cash shops, purely because it it really circumvents the development cycle of a game.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It fucks with gameplay often, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to talk about that. How like, well, if I sell you materials, surely I'm not going to fuck you over and make materials harder to get in the game.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you're doing. Not to mention of the instant incentive for people to do that. So I don't trust people that do that. Basically,
where I think a lot of developers might be like, look, if we have a live service game or just a game, and we charge $2.99 a month, but that gives you access to everything that we make for the quote-unquote cash shop, that's probably better than a cash shop, because that incentivizes us to make a good, fun game that makes you want to pay $2.99, rather than having to continuously come up with new and fun things in the cash shop. Fun things, as according to Ubisoft, I should just add, right? Because apparently it makes the game more fun.
Fun things.
Yeah, right?
Surprise mechanics.
Yeah, so I sort of feel like that's probably where they're coming from. Obviously, the model that I would want to see dominate is just buy the game and be done with it. So, that's the model that I would prefer. But that's
which is dominating this poll. This poll is being dominated by that at 27%. So
but it's low.
Another topic.
Everything else. I just want to point out something. Because it sort of relates to just gaming in general, but then also the previous conversations we had that I didn't add this to our list of things to discuss. But there's a new study. The study is from PlaySafe ID. In this study, they asked gamers whether or not they would be willing to verify their identity to prevent cheating in video games. Take a guess. How many players said yes?
42%.
73%.
Damn.
73% of gamers said they'd be willing to verify. In other words, when you sign up to a video game, you have to scan your ID, scan your face, prove who you are, in order to prevent cheating in video games.
These guys, there's no way that these guys have lived through the massive amounts of data breaches that we've had with Sony, Microsoft, like Steam. It's like, no, you guys didn't live through that.
No. I mean,
actually, I don't know if Steam had one. I know that Sony had one.
Blizzard has had one.
Yeah. The Blizzard's definitely had. Blizzard probably had more than one. But yeah, I shouldn't say too many names because I actually don't know. The one that I remember is Sony. Sony's was massive.
Yeah, Sony's was huge. But yeah, I think when it comes to payment, and we can probably, you know what? Let's tie both of these topics together because it plays into the exact same thing. Let's talk about Gen Z and what's happening with Gen Z currently.
So they basically are not spending that much on video games as opposed to older gamers. And this is the group aged from 18 to 24. Apparently, spending among them in video games has dropped by 13% from January to April 2025 when compared to last year. Matt Piscatella was one that brought this to light from a Circana study that shows what they've been spending on and all of that. And some of the reasoning that is put behind this is that younger graduates are having a much tougher time finding jobs. Student loan payments are restarting for millions of borrowers, which, by the way, the student loan situation, like, I don't know how that works in the U.S. I remember seeing some video of a lady saying, like, well, I took a loan for $20-something thousand. So far, I've paid back $30-something thousand, and I'm still missing $50,000. And I was like, what kind of interest rate is that? Like, what the fuck, dude? She loaned $28,000 and now she already paid $30,000 and she owes $50,000 more. Yeah, that's a bit steep, dude. Like, again, it's the whole thing of taking advantage of younger teens and shit. Because like when you're a younger teen, everybody's telling you got to go to college, got to go to college, you got to do college, and so you're much more vulnerable. It's like, yeah, I guess I'll take this loan, I'll be able to pay it back, and it's like you don't really understand like the ridiculous interest
See, but
rates that
this
they
is
put on
where
people. Basically,
so
people are fucked. Is where we're at. People are fucked, and spending money in video games is not necessarily a priority. But even beyond that,
yeah.
what is happening is a lot of people, they're growing up with like iPads and phones and all of this shit, and therefore, you know, they're the only gaming that they know is like trash phone games. That's what they know, and that's what they're going to be playing, like free to play, hot garbage, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to PC gaming and stuff, they're not really, you know, they don't have nostalgia, they don't have anything for it, so they don't care.
So I'll speak about that next. I first want to talk about the whole college situation because, as you can imagine, I have opinions on that. And in this, I'm going to again do what I normally do with my opinions: is piss off both sides. This is one of my biggest frustrations in listening about the debate between Republicans and Democrats about student loan is how both sides are completely retarded. The Democrats want free college education for everyone. And it's like, but there's no such thing as free. Someone's paying for this, right? And it's taxpayers that pay for it. And I don't understand how a kid that left school at 18 to become a car mechanic, how it's fair for him to be forced to pay taxes so that someone else can go waste 5 years at college. That's not fair. That's just you glorifying and justifying stealing his money so that you can go waste time on college. If you want to go to college, you should pay for it. Here's the opposite side of that. The Republicans go, there's no problem, right? No problem whatsoever. Everything is just perfectly fine. If you want a college degree, if you want a college degree, you must pay for it. And it's like, hold on. There's a middle line here that none of you seem to be talking about because all of you are so ideologically captured. There is a world.
You should pay for it.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to pay your fucking eyeballs out, which is what we had in Portugal. I forget how much my tuition was, but I don't think it was nearly as much as people have to pay in the US.
Here in South Africa, people take out college loans all the time. It comes with a standard, right, interest rate. Very standard, actually a very good interest rate. But what it does, right? So there's a couple of things in South Africa. The government does not underscore these loans. In the US, the government does.
So see, here's what's saying, like, this was just like a quick Google. In Superior Public Teaching for the elective year, which is this year, 2025, 2026, the maximum value of tuitions. And this, I think in here we charge by semester.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, is like €700.
Yeah. I mean, I
think it was actually more expensive when I did it. I think it was slightly more expensive.
I would say that,
but it's basically like, I don't think that's like too expensive.
Yeah.
€700 for a semester, but I could be wrong. Like, listen, I haven't looked into this for ages. I'm just doing like a really quick Google search,
and it's going to depend on what you're studying, where you're studying, and all the rest of it. But here's the thing in South Africa, right? So first, the government doesn't undersign these loans, which the government in the US does. So what you need to do as a student, if you want a loan here, your parents have to undersign it. Someone has to undersign the loan so that if you can't pay it, they will pay on your behalf. Because the government does not undersign it. This puts a lot of pressure on the banks. Because the bank can only really lend money if they feel like there's a reasonable chance of them to get that money back. Right? Because if you can't pay for it and your parents can't pay for it, then they're not getting their money back. This means that the banks keep the universities in check. If the university gets too expensive, the bank goes, "Dude, what are you doing? This person's never going to be able to pay back this loan. We're not lending this money." And then the university doesn't have students. So they're keeping each other in check so that one doesn't charge too much. In the US, because it's undersigned by the government, the banks are going, "Dude, if you can't pay, the government will pay, and the government can just print money, so who cares?" And the universities are going, "Wait, so you're saying we can just make it as expensive as we want? We can just charge as much money as we want for these tuition fees and stuff?" And so you end up with this sort of cascading effect where it gets prohibitively expensive to just go to college, but then the banks are also completely unleashed. They can charge whatever interest rates they want, and usually what these will be is they'll have a normal interest rate, but then if you miss one payment, it explodes, right? So suddenly you have a major interest rate on top of that. This is what the government should tackle. Introduce legislation to limit bank loans and limit interest on those bank loans.
So just real quick, I did a little bit of more research. I asked some stuff to ChatGPT, and it seems like I forget what the term is for licenciatura. I think it's just like the actual college degree, but then there's like masters that you can have on top of that, right? And the masters is where they fuck you.
So always.
I don't have a master's degree. I only did like the standard stuff, so that was not too expensive. But if you go to the masters, it might be as expensive as like, you know, sometimes 18,000 euros a year.
Yeah.
That's a little bit, it's a little bit more.
I will just point out, masters kind of makes sense that it's that expensive, because usually when you're doing your masters, you're having one-on-ones with your professor. So professors are limited in how many students they can take for masters. So kind of makes sense. It's also highly specialized, right? You don't want most people to have a master's degree, because you actually want people to work and not teach. And most people who get master degrees aren't getting it to work; they're getting it to teach.
No, because like you need I think you need a master's to be a doctor. I think.
Yeah,
like a medical doctor.
No. That's just a degree, but it's a 4-year degree, I think, and then 2 years on thing. It might be different in the EU, right?
I feel like this subject is completely beyond my scope. I don't want to say much more. I was just saying that like it can get way more expensive than what I said. So
but I don't even know. There must be masters for medicine, right? But most doctors they specialize. So it's not so much that they get masters; it's that they specialize. So you'll become a GP, general practitioner first. Then you'll specialize to become a surgeon or a brain surgeon or whatever, right? Know. Like there's specializations. I don't. My dad is beyond my
pay grade,
but he's just a GP.
It's beyond my pay grade.
But there's this middle line, right? That can absolutely be found where kids aren't going bankrupt trying to get a degree, but also at the same time you're not forcing other people to pay for your decisions. And that's where we should be. But everyone's so ideologically captured that they will only talk about their solution and refuse to even acknowledge that there is a problem in the first place, or the problem is insurmountable and everyone must pay for it. Right? Now, when we get to the Gen Z stuff, right, and Gen Z not buying games, I absolutely agree that life experience. Dude, I was watching this video of a guy talking about the dangers, the stuff that's happening in the US right now. And it is scary. There's 3 companies in the US. Just listen to this. There's a new term in the US, buy now, pay later, right? That young people live by. And we know buy now, pay later as credit cards. You have a credit card, you buy it now, you pay it later. This is a thing where young people will buy their groceries, concert tickets, all sorts of shit they'll buy on this buy now, pay later scheme, but not through credit cards. There's like 3 companies in the US, completely unregulated, because technically they don't give you credit. They pay for the thing, and then you pay them back over the course of like 6 months at extortionate interest rates.
So let's just call them what they are. Loan sharks.
Literally what they are, right? Legal loan sharks. And there's no regulation on them because technically they don't offer credit. Right? It's not technically
Seems
credit.
Reasonable.
And young people are up to their eyeballs in debt because they can't make normal payments. They can't afford the prices for concert tickets. They can't afford groceries. And so they buy their groceries on Amazon and they just pay with these companies. And then they'll pay it back later. If you're a young person buying groceries on credit, what the hell are you doing? Like, that is the worst thing. Like, credit is not good for the most part. It's really bad when you're spending it on stuff that you're going to be eating and shitting out at the end of it.
When you're asking what are these young people doing, they're surviving.
Yeah, well, the problem here is
fucking afford food.
Yeah, I think
they need to eat. The other option is dying now.
I would argue, right, to some extent, there might be some young people that are literally starving, and that's why they're doing this.
Yeah.
But it might also just be that young people, because part of the study that I saw on this shows that young people were brought up in a country where they were taught date is good, right? Like you're taught from a young age, you have to have date. Date is how you get ahead in life. And so, but they were never taught what kinds of date. So you have a lot of young people that are living way above their means, and they're doing it by supplementing it with these kinds of loan sharks that help them out to afford Taylor Swift tickets and all the rest of it. This is a problem that should stop. And I can understand why young people are just going, dude, I don't have the money to pay for all of the shit that you guys want to monetize in video games. Right? If I can already not afford food, and I can already not afford to even go to a concert, how the hell can I afford all of these payments that you guys continuously charge me with on video games? Because if you open a lot of modern day games, guys, there's thousands of dollars worth of shit on those cash shops.
Yep.
That they just keep pushing into those cash shops. But then I think there's another problem. There are no more worthy games left. The games that you and I grew up with that you would give all your money to is so few and far between now, right? Because most companies now...
Agree. I don't agree that there's no good. Like, listen, I barely have time to play all the things I want to play. You want to tell me there's no worthy games left? No.
I do actually think that. But also, I just want to point out, the games that you play aren't the ones guilty of this, right? They're not the ones pushing cash shops at every single turn. They give more than enough content for free without having to ever spend anything on cash shops. I'm thinking about the games like World of Warcraft, the Elder Scrolls Onlines, the endless arrays of Call of Duties, the Battlefields, right? The games that basically just they've become walking cash shops. They're cash shops with a game attached to it, right? Like the cash shop is the bulk of the game. You just have to go through a bunch of missions in order to get to the cash shop. That's effectively what it is. And if you're a young person playing Call of Duty, why would you spend money on this? It's not iconic. It's not it's not how it used to be. What the hell would be the point of it? So I do think I don't think that's the main reason. Just if I think it is the fact that young people just don't have money anymore. But I also think that
I think it's the fact that they don't have money coupled together with the fact that they grew up with cell phones and iPads.
Yeah, and then the games that used to... Well, actually, I should say the games that used to make you go, I will pay all the money in the world for this, are not the games charging all the money in the world for their games. You think of something like Erupts Expedition 33. Very cheap game, and I would gladly pay $80 for that game. Baldur's Gate 3, I would pay $80 for that game. It's a good game.
And it sold for $6. Wasn't it even 50?
I think it was 50. It was 40. It was 40 here in South Africa if you bought it before the game came out. I think it was 50 once the game launched. So
I think that for us it was 50 if you bought it before it came out, because I remember buying it.
Yeah. I mean, the games that I would pay extra for, they don't charge extra. So I'm like, oh, well, I'll give you that. That's great, right? So yeah, I just think, I think there's a lot of factors that go into this stuff. But the more troubling thing is the fact that Gen Z is just not buying games. They're just not spending money. And we shouldn't discount the Xbox Game Pass. The fact that probably a lot of people are going to Xbox Game Pass now.
And there's probably also a lot of people going like, well, they're being priced out, because like they're already being priced out of the current price of video games, which should be 60. It's actually 70.
Yeah.
But they're already being priced out at 60 because of the way that things are. Now they're getting priced out at 70, and on top of it, everybody's pushing for 80, and everybody's saying like this is a good thing. Like I think Sean Layden even I saw an article. I think it was yesterday or something. We didn't really put this in there because I don't have that article at hand, but it was something where Sean Layden was saying that games should have been more expensive a long time ago. And it's like, brother, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody listening to what the fuck you're saying. He's like, the development costs, and it's like, no, I don't believe you. Other games have proved you wrong. Shut the fuck up, bro.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up. Look at the price of Baldur's Gate 3. Look at the price of Clair Obscur. Look at the price of fucking Wu Chang that came out, a couple of weeks ago. It's like, shut up. You're wrong. Your development costs amount to basically the what is the name? Incompetence. The incompetence of a lot of the people that are working for you.
Yeah.
That's what your development costs amount to. And it has been proven time and time again by other video games. So just shut the fuck up about this. You should have been more expensive like fucking 2 years ago. It's like, no, it shouldn't have. Shouldn't be more expensive now.
Yeah.
So whatever.
No, it is truly sickening to see these people
and the worst part
for this.
And the worst part is that basically you are seeing that people are spending less money because they literally can't afford to, and you're charging them more when you don't fucking need to in order to make more money just to appease the shareholders. So you're basically destroying the hobby with these pricing practices. But pop off. Keep at it. You're gonna do the old fuck around and find out. You're gonna find out real fast because 18 to 24 should be the prime audience for video games, okay? It shouldn't be old farts like me at 43 that are the prime audience for these video games, okay? So just keep that in mind. This is your audience. These are the people you're trying to get, and they're the ones that are leaving the fucking market because they're getting priced out. Keep that in mind, okay? But keep raising the prices, see where that fucking takes you.
Yeah, no, like, please, how about we go to $100 a game? Let's see if this finally makes more money. I'm sure.
Find out.
I'm sure Dragon Age: The Veilguard would have been a massive success at $120 a game.
Hells yeah, dude. No, $420 even. $420 blaze it, because then they could be like, man, play this game high. You'll see it's so much more fun. Look at all the pretty colors and the fucking blooms and the rainbows and. Yeah, fantastic. Unicorns.
It's so annoying to deal with people that just shill mindlessly for an industry that desperately needs honesty.
Yeah,
that I think annoys me most of all. Speaking of failing games.
No, wait. We still have more on Devcom, dude. Oh yeah, there's way more. Way more.
All right. Okay, let's go.
Devcom, another one of the topics was, is early access still viable? Now, this is something that I'm also interested in discussing with you. 96% of people believe that it is, either broadly at 37% or within specific genres and communities at 59%. Now, I think that early access is viable, but at the same time, I feel like there is a bit of early access fatigue going on. At least for me, because listen, there are a ton of games that I want to play. I want to play No Rest for the Wicked, but it's not finished yet, and I kind of I don't want to play it in early access anymore. I played the first stage of early access, and I know that if I play it again, by the time the game comes out, I'm not gonna want to play it anymore. So I'm just like, okay, I want to wait because I want to enjoy this game when it comes out. Enshrouded, kind of the same thing. I played Enshrouded. Love Enshrouded, think it's a fantastic survival game, but it's I'm waiting for them to kind of be finished with the game before I jump back in, because otherwise I already know I'm going to play the crap out of it while it's in early access, then I'm not going to want to play by the time the actual game comes out. And they're like this. There are others, there's been tons of early access games I've checked out over the years. Now, one of them that I am interested in playing and replaying, because part of the experience is replaying the game because it's seasons and stuff like that. It's Path of Exile 2. I kind of feel like for Path of Exile 2, that works because it's kind of built in. Those types of ARPGs that have seasons where you're meant to replay the content, that makes sense and it kind of clicks. But in games where you're supposed to play it once, or there's no reset of progress happening at a frequent basis, I just don't think it makes that much sense. But what do you think about this early access being viable?
So my problem with early access is, one, as you said, I think it's been completely overused. It's sort of every game now launches into early access, and it's man, my biggest problem with it is it removes the majesty of video gaming, right? That night that you finally get the game and you install it and you're going to play it. that's gone, right? Because you're going to play a part of the game that's probably going to go through a million iterations. This is probably going to be the poll for this week. Does early access still have a place in video games? Do you like early access or not? Because I ultimately just feel like I can see it for live service games, right? I can see it for games where you're meant to play the game for a long period of time. And as you say, there's seasonal resets. There's this whole point of things are going to stay the same, but they're also going to change constantly. But when it comes to, like, I would even go so far as to say, I understand why Baldur's Gate went into early access, but I sometimes wish it didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing, isn't it? Because it's one of those situations where when you're jumping into an early access game, you're not really going whole hog. You're kind of like you're dipping your toe, right? And the feeling that you get when you're doing that, like even just the feeling of satisfaction that you get, you know, the overall vibe of you jumping into the game is going to be very different than, say, when the Burning Crusade came out. Right?
Yeah.
Burning Crusade came out. We were going in like fucking whole hog. Like we're not even jumping in the kiddie side of the pool. We're just like jumping straight to the fucking deep end. We are hooked. We are just like full immersion mode. Like, don't fuck with me for the next 2 weeks easily, if not the next 2 months. Like, you know, and that gets lost when you're doing the early access. It gets like diluted over the longer period of time of the, you know, the whole thing. At least that's kind of like the way that I feel, but I don't know if I'm in the majority when it comes to that. Like, I feel like it might just be that most people actually love it because it appears to be very successful.
I would just like to point out that what we're talking about here is not early access in the same way as buy now, play 3 days early. We're talking early access
that's not
as
what we're
in
talking about.
Like actual games that go into Steam early access, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We both agree that games should not have early access, or we should say late access, baked into the purchase. We both agree on that.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. I would argue people who don't think that it's a problem have never played WoW. Because WoW is the perfect example of what happens eventually to early access. In World of Warcraft, patches or beta has basically become the live game for everyone.
Yeah.
By the time the live game comes out, the game's been solved. The content creators have made all of the videos about the new patch. There is nothing new to discover. Every single build is already worked out, already laid out. You basically just log in and you play by numbers. It has removed all of the majesty of that game.
You could probably set up an AI to just do it for you at this point.
Yeah.
Like, not even a bot, just like straight up an AI that will go through all of the quest lines and do all the things by the time the game comes out, because you just give it instructions. Oh yeah, these are the quests that you need to do in this zone. This is the build that you need to do. It's not even an AI. It's just like it's script. You can just script it.
I think what I appreciate from Baldur's Gate and their early access was a lot of the experience from early access to live game changed completely. Even the first chapter, they changed a lot of the experience of the first chapter. And I think for use cases like that, there's certainly an argument to be made that it's not the worst, because you're testing out a whole new feature, testing out new systems, trying to make sure that it actually works for the rest of the game. Great, no problem. I think that works in some cases. I just feel like there's a lot of games that don't need that. There's a lot of games where just make the game, bro. Because ultimately, and here's what I will say about this. People who say, well, how would they know? The most successful games on this planet has always been games that are made by developers who want to make the game that they themselves want to play. This is what we heard from the people from Clear Obscure, Expedition 33. They made it super clear. They were told by everyone, this doesn't work. No one wants to play these games, bro. This game is going to fail. And yet, the game has been a phenomenal success. Why? Because they wanted to play that game. And they went and they made that game. And it turns out other people were also like, man, I want to play this game too. Right? World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft had its birth, not because they were following the market. In fact, just before the launch of World of Warcraft, MMOs were dying. People thought the era of MMOs are over. People tried it for a bit with Dark Age of Camelot and, Lineage 2 and
Star
things
Wars
like that.
Galaxies.
Star Wars Galaxies, and it was sort of over. No one cares about this anymore. Then World of Warcraft comes out. And why does it come out? Because the developers really wanted to play it. They weren't looking at market trends.
They were playing EverQuest, and they were like, we can make something better than this shit.
Yeah, but it was their dream to bring Azeroth to life in that way. They weren't looking at market trends. If they were looking at market trends, they would never have made World of Warcraft, right? So, yeah. and for that, I think you don't need early access. Just make the game that you believe in. And if you believe in it, there's bound to be other people who believe in it too. Stop trying, because that's all early access is. It's the ability to test your ideas against an actual audience. Why? These are your ideas. This is how you want to play the game. Don't make a game based on what everyone else thinks. Just make the game that you think you should be making. It would be similar to a YouTuber pre-releasing his video so that he can hear what his audience has to say about the video and then re-recording the video multiple times until he gets it just right to make sure that the audience really enjoys it. Everyone predicted, what the hell is this? The one. Just make your video and be done with it, right?
Just make the damn video.
Yeah, just say what you want to say and be done with it. But yeah, so that's my point. That's my feelings on that. What's the next one?
Another one is platform exclusivity is failing. Only 6% of people believe that exclusivity will remain a core strategy. Yeah. Most expect limited or timed exclusives. Limited exclusives at 28%, timed exclusives at 34% to become the norm, with 32% predicting exclusivity will become less common altogether. Yeah. And, we're seeing it, like Helldivers went to Xbox or whatever, and Halo went to PlayStation. And I think there's more things that are swapping around, like friggin' what's her name, the one from Ninja Theory, Hellblade. Hellblade 2 is going to PlayStation. Final Fantasy 16 went to Xbox. It's like it's constantly swapping back and forth. So I expect it to become less common. I do think that PlayStation will still hold on to like timed exclusives.
Yeah. For now, it is serving
for the most part. Yeah. Yeah, but for the most part, they are going to start just everywhere. And I think that's a good thing. I think platform exclusivity fading is a good thing. But,
I think for
us, for the users, at least, for the platform holders, maybe not so much, but
But actually, it's a double whammy for the users, and I'll be very quick on this because I know there's more to go through. But for us, it's a double whammy of good. First, everyone gets access to the games where they want to play it. But then also, the real battle can become the technology and not the exclusivity. So that now PlayStation and Xbox can really push the technology of what they do as far as they can to try and one-up each other on that, rather than saying, well, we don't have the most powerful machine, but look at all our exclusives, and it's like, I would have better
games.
Yeah, I would have loved the more powerful machine and the games. That would have been really nice. But no, you just wanted to focus on the games. So yeah, I think it's good all around.
Then we have a couple that I can just like rapid fire. AI and development, where it works best. Most valuable use cases cited are code and production, 32%, which I kind of agree with because being a code monkey, you're just like. I think that if you can automate that, and you probably can for the most part, as somebody that has done programming, most of it can be easily automated. Just tell the machine whatever you want. It'll probably even format the code better than you would with comments and shit, and then you can go in and change the parts that you need.
Yeah.
And then art and animation at 11%. Now, art, not a big fan of that one. Animation, yes. Automating animation, I think that's fine. You give it like the basics, and then you let it fill in.
I do want to say it depends on what we mean by art, right? So if we're saying art in terms of doodad manipulation, I think that's perfect, right? You can make, say, 3 or 4 trees by artist, and then just use the AI to combine characteristics of the trees to make more trees, right? Rather than a literal developer having to sit there and go, well, we want this tree to look like this and this big, so we have to physically change everything. You just have the AI sort of automate all the thousands of little doodads, because it can make the world look more varied, right? Instead of having, so for example, even games that pay a lot of attention to detail, like for example, Cyberpunk 2077, there's so many things in that game where once you start to notice it, you realize, oh, they just used one trash can for all trash cans. Like that one trash can is all trash cans. Because otherwise they would have to sit there and physically create multiple types of trash cans. Whereas if you have AI, you create maybe 2 trash cans and you just trust the AI to make variations of that you can make the world have a little bit more character, make the world feel a little bit better. So I think to some extent, but if we're talking art in terms of how about you make the whole game for us? No. No.
And then 33% still preferred minimal AI involvement, indicating that the divide remains sharp. So people are still very divided on where AI can be used.
That's an interesting point. Yeah. That's a very interesting point. No AI or limited AI so the devs can stay sharp. Because that is definitely
no. Not. I didn't say devs, indicating that the divide remains sharp.
Oh. Because I was just saying
the divide between people that are accepting of AI.
Okay, I heard devs remain sharp because I was just thinking, like, that is quite interesting. Because one of the things we don't often talk about is laziness. You spoke about it the other day where you had to stop using the AI because you become so lazy. That you just
I was like I wouldn't be able to make a YouTube title without just let me go to ChatGPT and have a little conversation about my YouTube title. And it's like no. Can't have that. So I stopped doing that entirely. I don't use AI at all at any part of the creative process anymore.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that we'll have to take a look at, because the more coders even use AI, the lazier they're going to become, and soon you'll have coders who genuinely don't know how to code. They know.
I mean, you already have those.
They know how to get the AI.
You have. They call themselves prompt engineers.
Oh, right. Glorified beggars, in other words. But
Jesus, I didn't say that.
Dude, but
you still need to understand the thing.
If they can be then I'm a prompt engineer. I write prompts to AI all the time, and it does things for me. So, guys, I am, by the way, from this day forward, I am now a prompt engineer.
Don't some people call themselves AI artists?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go down the list of bullshit things that one can be with AI, that is also something. Well, I would also then be an AI artist. I've used AI to change some of my thumbnails to make the faces more expressive.
Artist.
I couldn't find a thumbnail of my president looking not like a retard, and so I had to use AI to make him look surprised. So I'm an AI artist, guys.
Okay.
I'm a prompt engineer and an artist in like literally a minute. I have 2 degrees now.
Couple more topics here. Biggest industry challenges, top concerns included economical and political uncertainty, 56 votes, market saturation, 53 votes, and rising development costs, 44 votes.
Yep.
I agree with market saturation. I do think the market is very saturated because even I have like very particular tastes in terms of video games, and even I'm like, I don't have time to play all the video games that are coming out. So the market is definitely saturated.
Because everyone wants to have yearly bullshit.
Yeah, I don't agree with rising development costs. You're going to have to work really hard to convince me, like, it's so much more expensive to make video games now. It's like, sorry.
No.
As for economical and political
I just want to say,
yeah.
It is more expensive. But if you're complaining about that, it would be similar to me going, well, I have a hole in my foot where I shot myself. Like, I did this. This is a self-inflicted wound. You don't get to complain about stuff you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
Stop punching yourself in the dick, bro. It's that easy.
It's like, I need these 8K textures, Accolonn. You don't understand.
No, you don't.
The game looks so much better with 8K textures. And it's like, motherfucker, most people are still playing in 1440p, and that is if it's not actually 1080p. Okay, and nobody even playing at 4K. You don't need your fucking 8K textures. All right,
and even then, most of us really don't care if the game.
You need
is
a good
fun,
art style.
Yeah.
You need a good art style is what you need. You don't need 8K textures. You need good art style.
No,
all right, that's what you need. Anyway. Our large digital showcase is still worth it. Visibility was the key reason for 54% of respondents who answered yes. However, 21% felt costs outweigh benefits, and 8% say they're too crowded for real impact. I agree
with that
digital cases. Digital cases are worth it if you know for a fact that your game's going to be giga successful, because we'll just amplify it. It's a kingmaker system, just like it is on Twitch, where like if your game is big enough, you put it on a digital showcase, it will pop the fuck off. It's going to be amazing. But if you have a smaller game or a game that you're not entirely sure if it's going to be like giga successful, then a digital showcase is likely not going to do it for you. Buying habits. Digital versus physical. Digital formats dominate, with 59% preferring them. Physical editions appear mainly to collectors, 22%. I cry.
Rurikhan,
I fucking cry.
I knew you were going to have a meltdown, but the truth is, bro.
Bro, physical.
Digital is easier.
Come on.
No, digital is
easier. With a further 19% choosing physical by default. So see, if we actually combine these numbers, we get like 41.
And congratulations, we're still 59% outweighing you.
Anyway, and then cloud gaming outlook. The outlook's divided. While 45% think console/PC will remain dominant, the other 46% expect major platform holders to shift towards cloud and digital-first services. And let me tell you, if cloud and digital first is whatever, but like if your main offering is cloud, you can stuff it up your ass. Yep. I don't want it. I'm not interested. I am out.
I'm sorry, but all you basically told me there is that 40% of the people they asked were retards.
There you go.
Because I'm sorry, but no.
That's
no.
Yeah, no. We don't do cloud here. We don't serve your kind here. Okay. Yes. But yeah, that's the Devcom discussion.
Very
together with the Gen Z topic as well. Yeah, it's interesting data that we have here. Yeah.
Okay, so I think very interesting data. And then for the last bit, I'm just gonna sort of quickly ramble off this because we could maybe talk a little bit about DragX Drive struggling. But I know it's very struggling. Little about
So who'd have thought that a video game where basically in order for you to move, you have to hold the Joy-Cons in one of the most awkward positions ever, place them on top of a table or maybe on top of your knees or something, and then do this.
Yep.
Because that's how you move in that game.
Yep.
Who would have thought that doing that as a mechanic where you're playing wheelchair basketball was not going to be particular? Like, I saw that and I was like, that's going to get old within like the first 30 minutes.
Yeah. No.
I'm sure that somebody out there fucking loves this game and it's their game of the year. But I guarantee for the majority of people, they did this for 30 minutes. And they were like, I'm kind of done with that. Yeah, I'm good.
I'll just point out, guys, that for me, it's one of my biggest problems with these inclusive games, right? These games that are made specifically because they want to be more inclusive. People in wheelchairs don't want to be in that wheelchair. They're there through no fault of their own. If they had a choice, they would want legs that work. So why are you making a game for people who are now in a position where they don't even want to be? Just make normal basketball. If really you want to make a basketball game, make normal basketball. It already exists. Let's add an extreme version. You can play basketball with guns. Right? Let's make it fun. But this nonsense of trying to cater to people who are in positions where they don't even want to be in.
Like, listen,
it's just nonsense.
You know that zoomer editing sound that sounds like a shotgun blast?
Yeah.
We need one of those and then go like, IGN gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yep. Dude, if IGN gives you a 6 out of 10.
GameSpot gave it a 5 out of 10.
Oh, Now you know your game sucks when it's really trying to be inclusive, and even the inclusivity police goes, "This sucks." Like you know you're in trouble.
That's fucking
right?
rough, bro. That's fucking rough.
But yeah, I mean the mechanics are certainly stupid, right? And the mechanics definitely doesn't help. But I think what the mechanics do more is it puts those who actually wanted to try the game, puts them off playing the game any further. But I just think
I actually
the premise,
don't know if you can. I don't know if maybe it has like a regular control scheme that you can just use the analog sticks. Maybe it does, but I don't know. I've always seen people doing the thing.
All I know is most people won't be enticed to play that. Right? When I saw the game, I was like, "This looks stupid. Why would I play this? This makes no sense whatsoever." But hey, someone got their points for being inclusive and whatnot. So I guess good luck to them. Let's talk about Crimson Desert. This is going to be super short.
Crimson Desert is getting delayed to Q1 2026. Not a whole lot to say there. I'm super excited for Crimson Desert. I want to do some wrestling moves on some unsuspecting creatures. I think that'll be a ton of fun.
Yep.
I'm actually going to be checking that out at Gamescom, so I'll have more to say about it
Rurikhan?
on the show.
Excuse me?
After the next one. What?
Did these creatures consent to you performing wrestling moves on them?
I don't give a fuck.
MasterCard.
I don't care.
Visa. We have one.
Visa and MasterCard can suck on these here Portuguese nuts. Okay, that's what they can do. They can suck on my hairy Portuguese ball sack.
But no, I
hope they enjoy it too.
I will say everything I've seen of Crimson Desert looks fantastic. And by the way, guys, we will next week have maybe next week or the week after next week, but we'll have a special
the week after next week.
Yeah, we'll have a
because next week there's no show.
Yeah, next week will be just Rurikhan's going to Gamescom, so we'll have a Gamescom special where Rurikhan will basically tell us all he experienced at Gamescom, and it'll be way more fun because a lot of companies that don't spend the money to go to Gamescom tend to use this as an opportunity to broadcast their games as part of the experience. So we're gonna get a lot of announcements and stuff. It's gonna be super fun.
There's gonna be a lot of news.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Right. And then lastly, and this really isn't even a story that I think matters that much, because effectively a streamer called Riley CS, he was found out to be cheating. He pretends to be a catcall online. Or I think he thinks he's a catcall or whatever. He was found out to be cheating in CS, and that became a big story. Of course, immediately...
It's not CS.
I think it's Riley.
Isn't it Battlefield 6?
No, but I think their name is Riley CS. Yeah, Riley CS.
Yeah, but you said they were cheating in Counter-Strike.
No. I was just saying Riley CS was called cheating. No.
In CS.
I don't think I said
you said
CS.
Cheating in CS. You did.
If I did, sorry, I have the thing right in front of me.
It's in Battlefield.
Yeah.
It's in Battlefield 6, right?
Yeah. I have the clip in front of me here watching it. Okay, so he posted a thing, used the hand cannon to prove I'm not cheating, can't wait for week 2 of Battlefield 6 beta, and then people looked at the footage and they were like, wait, but you absolutely were cheating. Like, and you had actual developers also
that's
pointing
the thing. That's the thing. There's a lot of people that are saying this person is not cheating.
Yeah, but the problem is, Yeah. Go.
The thing is, FPS players have gotten so good over the years that it almost looks like they're aimbotting. Now, I'm not qualified to talk about this because I don't play that many FPSs, so I don't know how good people are at like whip aiming and doing all of that shit and quick target acquisition and all of that. So I don't know how fast people can do it. I remember watching that clip and I was like, that definitely looks like some aimbot shit, but I don't know enough to talk about it. So I was like, I don't know. A lot of pro players have come out in defense of Riley saying that they are not, in fact, cheating.
So
a regular player can actually do those types of movements that fast. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's kind of like where it ends for me. The one thing that I do have is they got banned on Twitch.
Yeah.
Supposedly for cheating. And that's the part that's a little bit weird for me. I was not aware that you couldn't cheat in video games on Twitch. I was not aware of that being like a part of the terms of service or something like that. I did not know. Just saying, maybe a little bit inconsistency in terms of them applying their rules, as to be expected when it comes to Twitch. Do I care that somebody that cheats in a video game gets banned on Twitch? I don't give a fuck. No. I just don't know if they cheated or not, and I did not know that it was a part of the rules. You can't cheat in video games. What about people that, you know, they're playing a video game and they cheat in like God mode or something like that? Is that a ban-worthy offense? Like if I go to cheat engine in Dark Souls, because I used to do this back in the day for Dark Souls, not to make myself more powerful, but I changed a couple of flags in Dark Souls through cheat engine, which made it so that it was like I was constantly getting gravelorded. So if you don't know, gravelording is a different form of invasion where basically it spawns harder monsters in the game.
Okay.
And if you die to those harder monsters, the other player counts as having killed you. So the other player spends a resource, and that invades your world with harder monsters. So I would go to cheat engine and change things. Like, oh, I'm gravelorded all the time. So all these monsters would be populating in my world that aren't normally there to have like a bit of a more dynamic experience. So I guess that would be a ban-worthy offense as well. And I did it on Twitch back in the day, never got banned. So I don't know.
Yeah. So just to bring it back to the Riley CS thing, there's been multiple people coming out in defense, but also in condemnation. So I've seen pros as well as cheat devs. So devs whose job it is to identify cheaters coming out and saying Riley is absolutely cheating. I mean, going through the clip and showing all the ways in which this would not be humanly possible. Now, again, the question here would become, how good are you? Because I promise you, there's been times where I would watch Shroud play PUBG. And I'd be like, man, that looks so bloody cheat-worthy. Like, how is he just locking on so fast? But he's obviously just really good, right, at playing PUBG or any of his other shooter games. So it is entirely possible, right? But that's not what the big thing was, right? So the thing broke out, and Riley, sort of initially got in trouble. But where it really started to blow up was when people covered it and used the correct pronouns, which is he is making mistakes. And then the trans community came up and were like, how dare you misgender one of us, regardless of the cheating allegations, one of us, all around. And this just became a massive shit-faced online between those who refuse to bow to, or refuse to forsake reality, and those who refuse to embrace reality. So that's ultimately what the fight became. Like, no one even cares about the cheating stuff anymore. They have been unbanned from Twitch, by the way.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, they have been unbanned on Twitch now. As far as I know, he's been unbanned on Twitch. But the battle still rages on. Right, you still have the one side, the trans people, and Asmongold actually, in response not to this necessarily, but to all the stuff that's been happening, Asmongold got into trouble as well for something similar, because Asmongold said,
I know what Asmongold said.
Yeah, he said, remove the T from LGBT because the T's are creating all of the trouble, which is what Bill Burr also said, by the way. Bill Burr made the exact same joke. Just saying, look, these T's are creating trouble for the whole community. Personally, it's not the forum. This is not this type of stuff that we discuss. I personally don't care, right? Either way, if you cheat, you cheat, and you should be banned. If you didn't cheat, you shouldn't be banned, right?
But should you be banned on Twitch? You should be banned from the game. Should you be banned on Twitch for cheating?
I think so.
That remains the thing. Because like I've never. I mean, maybe there's a rule somewhere. I've never heard of people getting banned on Twitch for cheating in a video game. Maybe if it's a competitive video game, I guess during a tournament or something. But like,
I'm pretty sure Twitch has banned people before for cheating because it effectively
maybe I'm the one who's wrong.
Right, so it makes other people aware of the fact that they can cheat. But from what I understand, Riley has been unbanned. So Twitch even didn't have enough evidence to conclusively say there was cheating here.
Whether there was cheating or not.
Yeah. And my opinion on this is I don't care about the trans stuff. That's a separate conversation, but that should not have any bearing on
yeah, absolutely.
what happens to you in or out of game.
That's just like random fucking politics. You don't like just because somebody is trans, it doesn't immediately make them immune from consequences with regular actions.
No,
like that's not the way that it goes.
And just because they're trans doesn't make them automatically culpable for any action, even if they're not guilty of it, right? Like that's a separate
it goes
issue.
both ways.
Yeah, that's a separate issue. We can talk about that issue, but not now. We're talking about the gaming side of things. But I did need to mention that there's been a massive blow up because that's all it became. We're no longer talking about the fact that there was perhaps cheating or not. We're just talking about the status of this person. And
political situation, yeah,
political situation. That's basically bog standard in 2025. I don't know why this would surprise anyone, right? Like you can literally make the most mundane comment, and someone will make it political.
I'm just gonna end this off on a throwaway.
Yeah,
on a throwaway. Mark Dara did an interview with Mr. Matty Plays. Mark Dara.
Oh yeah.
Did an interview with Mr. Matty Plays, wherein he mentioned in passing that we soft pitched EA to remaster the Dragon Age trilogy.
Yeah,
and they said no
because EA hates money if it's not in a cash up form.
Yeah, the worst part is that they already know that it would be successful because of Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Of course.
But no.
Dude,
we wouldn't
insane.
want to do that. It's too hard.
You see, but Andrew Wilson doesn't like his money to not come through the cash up.
Exactly. Yeah. Andrew Wilson is like, no, the money needs to come through the live service. That's where the money comes from.
Yeah.
You know? Like
I
see my FIFAs that have like the fucking FIFA Ultimate Team. That's where I need my money to come from. You see, because I can't orgasm unless I know that I've ripped somebody off.
Well, his biggest problem is if he greenlights another single player game to be remade and make money, the board of directors might start to go, man, these single player games sure do make a lot of money. And then he'd be forced to do more. So he's like, no, I will not have that. Not on my watch.
No. I need to make sure that I'm dicking over people with my games. Otherwise, dude, it's harder for me to get erect.
Dude,
okay?
The trilogy, the Dragon Age trilogy is, it would print cash. I would pay $80 for that trilogy.
Maybe not Dragon Age 2. Maybe not Dragon Age 2. But
remake.
Origins and Vanguard, and not Vanguard. Origins and Inquisition.
Wait. But hear me out. Remaster for 1 and 3. Remake for 2. This time with proper resources.
Now you got my attention.
Yeah.
I want to play a dwarf in Dragon Age 2. Now you're speaking my language.
Because the story for Dragon Age 2 was actually phenomenal. It just needed a bit of polish. It needed a bit more body to it. So just a bit of remastering, remaking, and you could have a real treasure on your hands. And those 3 games will sell. But no, Andrew Wilson can't have that because no single player games on his watch. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This is a bit of a shorter episode because Rurikhan is a father and he's incredibly busy. But also because I'm busy. It's a Friday. I need to go edit this so that I can give this to you early to all of the, people who support over on YouTube membership. Just click the button below this video. Join if you want to become a member. You get early access to all of our videos. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be good to each other. Be kind to each other. And myself and Rurikhan will see you after Gamescom. Peace.